if it gets to termination and you really have to have that conversation, keep it brief, keep it short. Your role in that conversation should be very, very short. HR has a bigger role in the conversation. Hey gang, it's Ed with Sales Ethics, and we get questions sometimes about what to do when I have an underperforming salesperson and I believe it's going to lead to me having to terminate or fire them. And first thing I would say is you want to get a handle on this before the situation gets out of hand. So if you perceive that this person's not living up or not meeting your goals, the first thing you want to do is probably talk to your manager and make sure that he or she knows. It's really important that your management know that you're on top of the situation, you're aware of it, and you're looking for options. You never, ever, ever, ever want to be surprised. And you never, worse than ever, want your boss to be the one who finds out first that there's an underperforming employee. So you need to be on top of everybody's game, you need to be on top of their goals and their numbers. And when you perceive that something's heading down the wrong path, you need to jump on it and at least be aware of it. So get your manager involved. You may have to get HR involved. Okay, now that kind of depends on the severity of the matter, but if you think this is going down that path, you're going to need to have documentation perhaps. You'll need to have shown that you gave them opportunities for training and skills, and you have to show that you went through a progression perhaps to put them on a performance improvement plan, and those are not things you can do usually lightly, and you need to get HR involved in that as well. So the first thing I would say is get help, get awareness of the issue with people in your management and in HR. The next thing I would say is whether you think it's going to go that way or not, and I really hope it doesn't go that way for most salespeople, but if it does, you got to start setting up one-on-one meetings on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. I've had to do this a couple of times with people, and you have to be upfront with them and say, look, I want to start scheduling bi-weekly meetings because I don't think you're meeting some of your goals. I don't think you're achieving the objectives that we have set out for you. So let's sit down, you and I, once a week, once every 2 weeks, you set the schedule, and figure out how I can help you get to meet your goals. These one-on-ones are meant to be, kind of a two-way conversation, but mostly you have to let them know where they stand. They have to let you know what help they need, and you set up mutual goals that they can achieve in the next window of time, maybe next 30 days or next quarter, but whatever it is, set those goals, and then you can tell your management that you're working through these things together with that particular individual. What you're really trying to do here, this is really important, pay attention. You're really trying to distinguish between skill and will. Sometimes it's a skill issue. I don't have the training, I need some coaching, I don't know how to run the Salesforce, I don't know, or CRM, I don't know how to use the tools. Or it's a will issue, and they just don't want to. They're in the wrong role, they're discouraged, they're not happy. They just there's something about it where they might be totally capable mentally of doing it intellectually, but they just don't want to. It's more of an emotional issue, right? You're trying to distinguish between those two things, and that's really important to find out. Once the situation is clearly pointing to termination, then you have to work on a performance improvement plan or some kind of corrective action plan, and you have to let the individual know this is serious. You should tell them you've brought HR into the conversation or your management into the conversation, and continually ask them, is there any help they need to turn this situation around? What do they need from you that you can offer or do to help them achieve their goals? Because I don't think you probably want to have this person leave. I don't think you do, because hiring takes way longer than people think and really sets you back on your goals. So you really are vested in helping this person achieve their goals. And then lastly, if it gets to termination and you really have to have that conversation, keep it brief, keep it short. Your role in that conversation should be very, very short. HR has a bigger role in the conversation. You make sure that HR is ready, they have all the information they need. You want to make sure you have all the paperwork ready, any kind of dismissal forms, signatures, COBRA, insurance. Pick up all their company assets, if they have a computer or a credit card or keys to the office or anything like that, cell phone, make sure you get all that from them, collect all of that, and then you also want to make sure IT turns off any access to their network or any data they may have, because the last thing you need is someone disgruntled going in and messing with the data or downloading data that you might find they shouldn't have, is confidential or proprietary. So you want to make sure IT is also involved. It's never a good situation, but I'll tell you, here's the silver lining. I've had several of these in my career, and the majority of them are ones where the individual later told me thank you. They weren't happy and they wanted to change. And I was taken aback by that. And I asked them further, and it usually is that they were just in the wrong role and didn't know how to get out of it. And so you can be doing someone a favor, even though it doesn't seem like it at the moment. For more help like this, give me a holler, ed@salesethics.net or salesethics.net, and we can pick you up there. See ya. Bye-bye.